Happy Thursday to you. We are in the home stretch here, the last 5 priorities of the 15 that I believe the next council needs to get right. And today I want us to focus on the business community. Business in St. Stephen is an absolute lifeblood to a thriving community. You cannot have a bunch of people living in a place without businesses doing well. And I would say, as I've said, with the housing being the key to success in St. Stephen, when you have many people living in a place, they need services. They want to purchase things in close proximity to where they live. And so business will inevitably be one of those beneficial byproducts of people living together. Now, in St. Stephen, we have a lot of business agencies, several that actually are working to cultivate the business community right here in St. Stephen. I think, first of all, of Future St. Stephen, that is the economic development arm of the Municipal District of St. Stephen. So kind of a government agency that is funded by and reports directly to the Municipal District of St. Stephen. And I've talked the last few months about the reports, the monthly reports, exactly what they're focused on. They have a mandate specifically around tourism and housing and the industrial park and the downtown business area, making sure that we have thriving businesses and that they're always, it's primarily externally focused, Future St. Stephen. It is looking to bring in other folks who want to invest in our community from outside. But then, of course, it's about helping businesses find the employment that they need, the employees. So, you know, one of the latest initiatives for Future St. Stephen, it's to go into the high school, introduce, seniors in the high school to businesses that they could potentially find careers in, just kind of build that bridge, build a relationship and say, hey, you are the future, literally, of St. Stephen. When you're in high school, you want to get into businesses, and that's part of the retention piece that Future St. Stephen is focused on. As well as, like I said, developing out the industrial park. With the Southwest Service Commission, the Municipal District of St. Stephen has been building that place out. What you want is kind of land and serviced area where larger commercial industries can come and industrial companies can come and set up. And so if you've been out to the business industrial park like I have to recycle my bottles and things like that, you see larger scales manufacturing type businesses there, and that is the kind of thing we want to see continue to be built out here in St. Stephen. So there's Future St. Stephen that is always looking to build that economic activity right here in town. There's the downtown BIA. So I did a whole video on that. You can search my videos on YouTube and Facebook. Just type in a topic. So if you type in downtown, you'll likely get the BIA, the Business Improvement Area. I went to kind of an info session with the executive director and the president. And that was a really, really enlightening. And we asked them, those of us who are there, the candidates who are there, what were the greatest needs of the downtown area? And they said things like, because they hear from the downtown businesses. And again, the downtown is a very specific area on King Street and Milltown Boulevard. It's a geographical area. What do they need? Well, there was a lot of talk around wanting for a greater communication with the other business development agencies in the area. So what we don't want is, 3 or 4 separate strategic plans that are not in step. We work better when we are aligned. And the BIA did say that they want greater communication between the different business agencies. And that is something that I want to see. So we have the BIA, they said things like, we need to consider the bylaws that sometimes hold businesses back. We don't want any bylaws restricting business activity. I always believe that bylaws are typically, almost 99% of the time, I would say bylaws are passed with really important considerations in mind, with good intentions in mind. But then after years and years, sometimes they need to be revisited because circumstances change. Maybe something that was a problem is not a problem anymore. You think about, I don't know, bylaws where like there's no horses allowed up and down the streets, for example. That's not typically a problem right now. So that's an extreme example of bylaws that exist that sometimes need to be revisited and amended or completely removed in order to allow stimulated business activity. And so that's the kind of thing that they wanted to see in the BIA, is making sure that things like sandwich boards, for example, if a business wants to put out a sandwich board to direct traffic, well, there might be a bylaw that says you're not allowed to put out sandwich boards. And again, why was that bylaw put there? It's so people wouldn't trip over them, so it wouldn't be unsafe. But can we allow for that to be done in a safe way, in a way that is not risking injury or that kind of thing? So bylaws related to zoning and housing in businesses, I've talked about that with the downtown and how important it is to allow for development in the downtown, and the BIA really wants to see that, as well as that safety piece. So, businesses don't want to feel like they are responsible for enforcing safe conditions right outside their the threshold of their door, right? They create safe conditions inside their shops, but outside the shop, that is the responsibility of the Municipal District of St. Stephen, whether that's safe sidewalks, safe curbs, safe roads, or just making sure that they are not being harassed by individuals who are creating disturbances or making people feel unsafe. And so again, that safety priority is there for me as well, and that spills over into helping businesses. The other agency that I want to emphasize is the Chamber of Commerce. I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce. I am a business owner in our community, and there are over 150 businesses that are members of the Chamber of Commerce. I did a whole video on exactly what their mandate is and how they contribute to the business community, advocate for the business community, so businesses can bring their concerns to the Chamber as members, and that collective voice helps to create priorities for your council and for the municipality as a whole. And so this is an example of the kind of in-step coordination each one of those agencies needs to put together a strategic plan to move forward, their 1-year vision, their 3-year vision, however they would like to structure that. And as the mayor of your council, I would like to see, using our municipal plan, which is a 10-year vision, we need to start hitting targets with SMART goals, 1 year out, 2 years out. What is going to be the legacy of the next council? That dash, as they say, what will you do with the dash? 2026 to 2030. What happens in between there? That's essentially your strategic plan. And communities find enormous amounts of success when they harmonize agencies like this, especially with business, with the strategic plan that everyone is in step with. And I just want to read to you from this book. I've read this in other videos. It's called The Mayor by George Cuff. And he talks about the importance of mayor helping council to collaborate, get people organized together. That's why I like to stress that coordination, cooperation, and communication, that really is a role of a mayor and a really good governance model for a council. And so here is the mayor of Moose Jaw talking about what happened when he and his council made it a priority to harmonize these business agencies specifically. He said, 2 problems were at the heart of our community. The first was that the municipal leaders failed to understand the strength of our community was being a community. People who live, work, play, eat, and sleep within a community also look out for each other. People living in a community share the victories and burdens together. This was the solution to the second part of the problem, funding programming. The community overwhelmingly voted in favor of sharing programming costs. Now, he's talking about a specific program. 2 problems were solved by one answer: community. This was also the solution to rebuilding our city and playing to our strengths. Instead of having a strategic plan that only City Hall was involved in, or the local government, We had a conversation concerning the city's values and expanded our tent to include tourism, Moose Jaw, the Chamber of Commerce, the Downtown Business Group, other influential leaders. We had a group discussion, came up with a community strategic plan that eliminated the silos of different organizations within our community and started pointing them all in the same direction. Once we rolled out our community plan, people naturally collaborated and we started incorporating the same strategy into branding our community. That's the kind of growth we want to see. And when we just kind of allow each of these agencies to do their own great work, it's not reaching its maximum potential. So one of the first things I would like to do is visit each, and right now there is on the boards, there is typically a member of council who kind of is on the board and liaises to council what is going on these boards. But it takes more than that. It takes shaping a strategic vision, sharing each other's strategic plans and saying, here's where we want to land. Where I want to land today is the focus of last year when there were consultations done with the public about the budget. What do we want to see as a focus? 3 things came into view based on just the residents that were conducting these sessions. And I was at one of them, but there were multiple where different residents were asked, what do you want to see? And what came into that was roads paved, so we're all fed up with the road situation. The hotel, we definitely feel like we need the hotel to stimulate that economic activity, and a revitalized downtown. And so that's why business is a focus, because that hotel is going to bring services. Last night at the council meeting, there was a decision made to support the U11 softball tournament. That's going to bring several hundred players and their families to our community. And when that happens, this is kind of the tourism piece that I mentioned a few videos ago. We want to be able to have businesses serving these folks. That's what generates economic activity, right? And so business is a thriving lifeblood, a key to a thriving community. And bringing all these players together in one harmonized strategy is really going to help us succeed. So 2 really important things that the municipality can do right away to help businesses, because it is difficult. Again, as a business owner, I've been there in tough spots, made it through. Not all businesses are as fortunate. We do see businesses closing down, and a lot of them cite really high rents that landlords are charging, the costs of electricity, the costs of goods, and essentially lower foot traffic. Maybe less disposable income in our population, which is why I say we need more housing and we need more tourism here to help those businesses. But then also making sure that council is doing everything they can. We as a municipality are keeping costs as low as we can without interfering in, the free market of the business community. But then also at the same time, we want to make sure we are creating a safe environment where businesses can thrive. So that again goes to that safety piece. That's why this is all rolled up together. We're kind of really sharpening the point of the spear as we move towards Monday. And as I close out the 15 priorities, there's so much overlap in the safety piece, the housing piece, the business piece. We need to get all of those things right in order to have a thriving St. Stephen. That is what I want to tackle in the next 4 years. And that is done with focusing the council on the common good for the business community and all the residents for our municipality. All right, that is it for today. BuildUpSt.Stephen.ca. You can check out my website for more commitments and priorities. Take care of yourself today. Take care of your neighbor. Let's build up St. Stephen, especially our business community and our downtown in the next 4 years. We'll be back at you with more priorities tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.